No, well, the funny thing is, how do you actually, as an adult and as a responsible adult that wants to consider yourself intelligent, how do you know of anything that everyone fails at? Basically, everyone you know growing up fails at relationships.
Yes.
Certainly your friends, because they're your peers. They're the same age as you.
Yeah.
But your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your siblings, most of your friends, your grandparents in some cases. So how do you know of something that everyone fails at, not see that there's something wrong with it, or there's something that you should really dive deep and understand more about?
Yeah.
How do you not see that?
People just don't.
Hollywood fantasy?
Well, I think
Hollywood fantasy has quite a hold on our culture.
It does.
It really does.
Well, I definitely blame it on the Hollywood fantasy, but people think to themselves, well, that's not going to happen to me. Right? Okay, everybody I know has failed relationships, but I'm different and Rachel's different, right? They actually believe Rachel when she told him, I've never felt this way before. I had one girl tell me, she's like, oh my God, I've never had someone fuck me rough before. And I'm like, bitch, you're 34. And I'm like, I was like, are you serious? I actually said that to her. I was like, you're kidding me with that, right? She's like, no. I just kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, really? For serious? She's like, okay, well, maybe. I was like, okay, listen. Like, you know, like, listen, like, you're not hurting my feelings. It is what it is. And then she also tried to tell me, well, you're the biggest I've ever had. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, listen, like, I'm not a micro dick, but like, and I told her, like, her name was Jennifer. I was like, Jennifer, it's okay. Like, I didn't ask you. I don't need you to stroke my ego. It's all right. It's cool. This is the way girls are, man. It's funny as shit. Even though they know they're bullshit, and it's funny.
So we talk about when we used to be beta, everybody somewhat starts out beta or somewhat starts out blue pill because you're still kind of caught up in, like I said, I really kind of do think that Hollywood movies have such a hold on our culture.
100%, especially girls.
If you think about it, when you're a teenager, you watch like sitcoms about teenagers dating, and before you even have formed your own idea or like understanding of what a relationship is, it kind of did come from film.
Yeah.
A lot of times, or storybooks.
Yeah, coming of age movies, you know?
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I could do that, or I'm going to do that. Then you see your friends do it, and you're like, I could do it, and it morphs into this weird thing. But back in our beta days, so we're doing Captain Save-A-Ho tonight. Let's talk about when we were Captain Save-A-Ho. It's an interesting complex because it is a real-life complex.
Yeah, it is.
Now, we talked about when we used to get fucked up and do drugs. Not together, we just met. But, you know, I went through a hell of a party phase. Me and the boys used to live like we were in Motley Crue for no reason.
Straight up.
Before we got our lives together.
Yeah.
And now I've got my shit together. I've been sober a long time. Was never really a drug addict, but I was certainly a hectic, like, party animal.
Yeah.
To a point that was pretty unhealthy. So obviously all the women that we had around were like the most promiscuous, druggy party chicks.
Of course.
Again, not drug addicts, but like avid
If it was there, they would do it.
If it was there, they would do it. Like avid drug users in the party setting. And I noticed that at that time when I didn't consider myself high value, I didn't have enough confidence to find a woman that I thought had any value of her own.
Of course.
So these party chicks, I remember thinking that, and I guess this is the Captain Save-A-Ho mindset that like, this girl takes interest in me. She's one of the only girls that's taking interest in me, so I have no choice. But all this like party hoe shit, if I could just strip that away a little bit, I can mold myself a partner.
Yes.
Now the interesting thing about that is, I don't know if you've ever encountered this. When you try to rip a party girl away from the party lifestyle, it is vicious.
Dude, it
is
goes well.
vicious. They fight for it.
Yes.
Who the fuck are you? Like,
right.
And they, you know, and you're really kind of just saying, in a sense, you're like, hey, like, we got to grow up sometime. Like, we've been partying for a minute now. Like, why don't we grow up a little bit? But that's really like, who the fuck are you? Fucking
you can't tell me what to do.
Oh my God, it's vicious.
Yeah. Especially when they're young and hot, because young and hot girls think they're going to be young and hot forever. Even though there's evidence all around them that at some point they are going to get old, right? They're going to age a little bit. They still think they're going to be young and hot. The Captain Save-A-Ho complex. And it's funny because we don't channel it. Women bring it out of us. Women in precarious situations, women know how to press a man's buttons. They know that we have a protector provider instinct. And so when there is a damsel in distress, men think that by getting that damsel out of distress, then they will then reward you with their bodies and their loyalty and all that, then this and that and the third. It never happens that way. And the reason for that is because they know they're not worth shit. And because you fell for it, they have even less respect. Wait a minute. I got 4 kids, 3 of which are not even under my custody. This guy doesn't see me listen, I thank him for what he did for me, but he doesn't see clearly that I'm not the type of woman who deserves this treatment. They don't think of this consciously. It's in their subconscious. This is why the more you do for them, the more repulsed they become by you, because you don't have the requisite knowledge to see her for what she truly is. And because she knows that you don't know, it repulses her. She thanks you and she's appreciative, but by the same token, she's like, yeah, I'm kind of fucking grossed out by this guy because I'm really not shit, but he's treating me like someone who deserves to be treated this way. This is why we tell guys, don't be a Captain Save-A-Ho. She's not going to return the favor ever.
Like I said, my first girlfriend red pilled me. She was very upfront with me about certain things, and I wanted to spend money on her because I was making money at the time.
Sure,
I remember her telling me, yo, I make my own money. You start to spend money on me, I'm going to start to expect it. And I was like, no, I'm sure you won't.
That is profound.
Like, I should have just fucking ran. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like,
oh my
wow,
God.
She's being upfront about it.
Wow.
But like, I neglected it, and she followed suit on her promise. In a way, it was like, I warned you, motherfucker. Give me the money.
Right. Yeah. Hey, pay up, man. Pay up.
It's funny though. You can't rip chicks away from a lifestyle that they're conducive to, that they're into. This is why, my brother's big into sports. My brother coaches 2 different hockey teams and a basketball team, kids hockey and kids basketball. Yeah. And he says he loves seeing girls that are into some sort of sport. He goes, because at least if they have a hobby other than drinking, seeking validation, and fucking, then there is at least a chance she could be playing softball instead of fucking the neighbor. But when her only hobbies are, and as really, there are some women that really that is their only hobby.
Just
party. We get together, we party, we drink. And when that's your only hobby, there's no reason not to suspect that they're up to some shit.
Well, this is the thing. Women are self-destructive by nature. When women are left to their own devices, their default programming is self-destruct. This is why single girls, and when we say self-destruct, we only mean by cock. When listen,
you got a woman, way of wording shit.
Well, when a woman, any woman who's been through a lot, she's been through a lot of dick. What did she go and fight a war? Did she build a house? No, she's been ran through. That's why she's been through a lot. When you give women complete control over her own sexuality, what does she do? She goes out and she fucks as many guys as humanly possible. That's not her fault. This is what women are designed to be self-destructive. You want to know why? This is my theory. So the good Lord, the creator, who I'm not an overly religious guy, but what the creator said is, okay, this species has to reproduce itself. So we need to make these women absolutely irresistible from the ages of 18 to maybe 26, 28 years old. That's the only way we're going to get these guys to be interested in them. Well, I can't give them the absolute power over men, the power to bring life into existence, and give them the requisite wisdom to keep themselves out of trouble. It's almost like when you're creating that NBA 2K character, you only have so many points to go around. Okay, I gave him a lot of hops, so his passing skills are going to suffer. Well, the creator, whoever he was, all right, attraction up. Oh, wait a minute. Self-destruction, there's no points for, all right, well, you know what? What I'll do is I'll give these guys the provider and protector instinct to protect women from themselves.
Right.
So this is why single women are always self-destructive. Women need a lot of things from men, but the number one thing they need you to protect them from themselves. People say all the time, if she loves you, she won't cheat on you. Wrong. If she loves you, she will not put herself in position to cheat. If your woman says to you, you've been dating her for 2.5 years, hey, can I go have girls' nights out? You can already start the time clock on the end of your relationship. She knows girls' night out puts your relationship at risk. Why would she want to put your relationship at risk? Well, because either she's got that 7-year itch or you're not doing something.
Well, right. But this is why I say when you're looking for a woman and you want her to be wife material, you better be looking at the fucking library.
Real talk.
You better be looking at a fucking museum. She helps out down at the soup kitchen, because when a girl's only hobby, this is like my brother's point, when a girl's only hobby is getting dressed up nice,
hoeing,
seeking validation from men, and getting a couple drinks in, there's nothing else that girls' night means.
No, right.
Maybe if you actually find a chick in a library, girls' night out is a fucking book club.
Okay.
Maybe you find out. Now, obviously, I'm not being naive to female nature. I'm just saying.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Look, I'm all about excitement. That's why I've been single for a long time.
Sure.
I had 2 relationships that were fucked, and I've had 2-3 girl rotations that kind of rotate ever since. And that's what worked good for me, because I'm aware that I'm not ready to compromise and be a husband. Maybe I want the baddest chick that I could find, and to keep her at this close of a distance.
Sure, right.
Works better for me. But if you're actually like a marriage-minded cat, take the hit,
dude,
get the 6.5.
Yep.
who likes to read.
Yes.
You know,
who likes to read, or who works at a daycare center, or who's a kindergarten teacher, right?
Yeah.
You need, dude, I totally agree. I've never thought of it that way.
Because then maybe her and her girlfriend are actually just having a glass of wine and fucking like going over a book. Truthfully.
Listen, the girls always say, oh my God, he keeps you in a cage. Listen, he doesn't let you go out. Of course he doesn't let you go out because you're hoeing when you go out. No man in the history of mankind has ever had a problem with his wife or girlfriend going to her friend's house to, just like you said, drink wine and talk about 50 Shades of Grey. Knock yourself out. Get the fuck out of my hair.
You know what's funny though is women do the same thing in a way. There's something that I wrote about in my book. I have it as an audiobook. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
The last chapter of my audiobook, I talked about a trend I noticed online. It was women taking pictures of their man playing Xbox and bragging that my man don't go out and hang with his boys, because Lord knows if he goes out with his boys, he might encounter some women.
That's right.
My man is a good boy who stays at home and plays video games.
Right.
And the funny thing is it's disguised in like good intent.
Sure.
Which is them saying like, hey, other women, don't give your man a hard time because he likes his video games. At least he's not out cheating.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so this is what it comes down to? Like, Lord knows if he's hanging with his boys, they might encounter some women. So you'd prefer somebody who's lazy and complacent and can often be found in front of the television with a blunt in the fucking Xbox controller. And what I said in the book is, they might act like that now. 6 months in, they'll be begging that you cheat because it'll get you out from behind them.
Yes.
It'll get you out from under their ass.
Listen, man, there's no such thing as male cheating. Men, we don't cheat. We simply exercise options. The reason I put it, because men and women, we show fidelity very differently. Women show fidelity through sexual loyalty. Men, we show fidelity through provisioning, right?
Right.
So when you hear about a high value guy, celebrity, millionaire, whatever, he might have 2 or 3 bitches he's fucking on the side. The wife is okay with that because she understands that, okay, he's fucking these bitches on the side, but I'm the one with the Versace bag. I'm the one who lives in the house. I'm the one who doesn't have to work. I'm the one that he takes care of. I'm the one that he comes home to. I also say this: if a man loves a woman, he wouldn't cheat. No, men don't cheat. A man who if your man really loves you, he will not allow you to find out about his side bitches. That's just how it is. If he really loves you, he will never let you sniff the side bitches.
And he won't act different around you.
Dude, exactly. Because men and women, we view sex differently. That's why we show our fidelity differently. A man, you want to know how a man can cheat on a wife? Is have another family somewhere else. If he
that was the old school thing. The old school thing was you got 2 bouquets of flowers,
yeah.
one for both wives.
That's right.
You literally.
That's right.
You have that is what a fair meant. A fair meant a ongoing situation where you basically have 2 home lives.
That's right.
Fucking around once in a blue is not an affair. An affair is you see two women on a regular basis that don't know about each other.
Right.
And they're both like relationships in and of themselves. That's
I'll tell you this. Well, women, they would never admit this, and they never will. Women would rather share a high value guy than to have a low value guy all themselves. Like, dude, there are women who are in harems, and don't get me wrong, women would love to have that guy all to themselves, but even if they did, now they're starting to question themselves. Wait a minute, is he really that attractive? A woman could be dating who she feels is the hottest guy ever, but guess what? If girls aren't looking at him, if girls aren't flirting with him, she's like, well, I think he's hot, but my friends aren't trying to fuck him, and he doesn't really seem to be interested in flirting with these girls. Is he really the best I can do? Don't get me wrong. This isn't to say that women aren't hurt when they find out their men stepped out on them. But they understand, because what's always the first... Dude, I've been caught cheating many times. The first question, 12 times out of 10, when they... Like, I dated this girl, Chrissy. I fucked her best friend, Aaron. The first question they always ask is, do you love her? Yeah. Do you love her, right? What's the first question we ask when we find out a girl cheats on us? How big is his dick, right? That's the way we measure things, because women know that sex for guys is just the act. And it's funny because it's solipsistic. They ask us, do you love her? Because if you love her, then it's over. Do you love her? Well, no, of course I don't love her. I just wanted to fuck her. Okay, I'm still hurt, but I can deal with that. But on the other guy's side, if a woman has sex with another man, she does not love you anymore. She just doesn't. This is why women, they're not okay with their cheating spouses, but they understand that this is part of the gag. I'll tell you a quick story.
Okay.
Peter Sellers, and a lot of guys probably don't know who this guy is. He was the guy who played Agent Jacques Clouseau on the Pink Panther. He was an incorrigible womanizer. He met his wife, I think, when he was like 20 years old, before he became rich and famous. He cheated on her throughout their marriage. After 12 years, she finally said, I got to get out of here. So she divorced him. Peter Sellers went on to be a big mega movie star. He married like two or three more times. He was always cheating on his wives. He died of a heart attack at 54 years old. The one picture he found in his wallet was of his first wife. Okay? Peter Sellers loved his wife. He did, even though he fucked other chicks. Women know that when men step out, it's not now, don't get me wrong. There are some men who fall in love with their paramours, but it doesn't happen that often. This is why women are okay with male cheating, because they understand it's just the act, man.
Yeah.